This is Mrs. Wainwright's class, Chapter 3, Lesson 4A, Decimal Place Value Chart. This is a review from Chapter 1. Today we have two learning targets. The first one is, I can name the place value column the decimal digit is in, and I can find the correct digit when given the place value column. A review from Chapter 1, a number that represents an amount less than 1 is shown as either a decimal number or a fraction. So here we have a whole chocolate bar, that's 1, the word form is 1. Here we have a fraction of our chocolate bar, or a decimal portion. That whole chocolate bar is broken into 10 sections. We only have one of those sections. So as a fraction we have 1/10. As a decimal, we also read it 1/10, it's 0.1. Either way it's read 1/10. With the th at the end shows that it's less than 1. And over here, we have a chocolate bar that's broken into 100 pieces. We have one of those pieces. You see that one is shaded. That means we have 1/100th of a chocolate bar with a th at the end. As a fraction, it would be 1/100, still read 100th. As a decimal, it will be 0.01, again read as 1/100th. This is a review of a place value chart. Remember when we had these tests and we had to fill in the place value columns? Well, we remember that when we have numbers, there's only one 1 and there's only one decimal. So if I need to name the columns in a place value chart, I'm always going to highlight my 1 column and my decimal because there's only one of those. And then the order that it works in towards the left, which is the whole numbers, is the same order that it works in towards the right for the decimals. The only difference is on the decimal side you add THS. So to the left of my 1 and my whole number comes the tens column. Therefore to the right of my 1 comes the tenths column, THS on the decimal side. On the whole number side, to the left of my 10 comes the hundredths column. So to the right of my tenths comes the hundredths column. On my whole number side, to the left of the 100 comes my thousands column. So on the decimal side, to the right of the 100 comes the thousandths column. And finally, on the left side, to the left of my thousand column comes my whole number, which is the 10,000s column. Therefore, on the right side, decimal side, to the right of my thousandths column will come my 10,000ths column. So when we look at this color by color, we see that it follows the same pattern, but in the exact opposite direction. For each question in this entire video, I put in a small version of the place value chart so that you have it to refer back to. If you're doing classwork or homework, you could always refer back to your place value chart, which is found in the gray reference packet in the gray section of your Pendaflex. But one thing you do need to know is you won't be able to refer back to that chart on the test. So you do want to, even if you have it out, take your best guess as what you think the correct answer is and then go back and check it yourself, because it's the only way you're going to practice doing it without looking at the chart. So let's take a look at example number 1. Example number 1 says, what is the place value column that the underlined digit is in? And I see this number 45.378. The 7 is underlined. I need to know the place value column for that number. So how do I tackle this? Let's watch and see. First thing I do is I always say to myself where there's only one 1 and there's only one decimal, so I will highlight the ones column and the decimal. Remember, the ones column and the decimal are right next to each other. It goes ones, decimals. And I will label underneath that an O to label it as the ones column. And when I'm doing this and I haven't done it in a long time and I kind of forget the name of the place value columns, one of the strategies that sometimes I use is I count how many places it is away from the ones column to get to the underlined number. So that's 1, 2 places away from the ones column. And I know it works in the opposite order, so I'm going to backtrack to my whole numbers column 2 places from the ones column. That's 1 place, 2 places. I do remember my place value columns from elementary school, so the whole numbers are easy. The highlighted is the ones, then comes the tens. I'll put a T to remind me it's the tens. The next column would be the hundredths, so I'll put an H to remind me of that. And it's going to work in the opposite way on the opposite side. So if to the left of the highlighted ones column was the tens. To the right of the highlighted column would be the tenths, and I'll put a T for 10 with a TH to remind me that it's tenths column. And back in the whole number to the left of the tens is the hundredths, right? It goes ones, tens, hundredths. So that means to the right of the tenths would be the hundredths. H for hundred, and the TH to remind me that it's hundredths. So this underlined digit of 7 is in the hundredths column. And I'll underline the TH to remind me that that definitely shows it's in the decimal column. It's less than 1. So I answered my question. What's the place value column that the underlined digit is in? Well, the 7 is underlined, and that's in the hundredths column. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 1 right now. Question number 2 says, what is the place value column that the underlined digit is in? And I see that my 5 is underlined. I need to know the place value column. So I'm going to take up my highlighter and I'll highlight my ones column and my decimal because there's only one 1 and there's only one decimal. This is my ones column and this is my decimal. I'll label it O for my ones column. I'm looking for the underlined digit, which is one place after my ones column. So I'll make a line one place in the opposite direction for my ones column. And I remember back from elementary school, if the digit 1 is in the ones column, the digit 9 is in the, what comes after ones? Ones, tens, hundreds. So the digit 9 is in the tens column. I'll put a T to show that it's in the tens column. So to the right of the ones column then would be the tenths column. T for 10, HS, TH to show me that it's the tenths column. So this underlined digit, the 5, is in the tenths column with the THS at the end to show me that it's in the decimal period. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 2 right now. Example number 3 also says, what is the place value column that the underlined digit is in? And I see that the 1 is underlined. I'm going to find the ones column, which comes just before the decimal, and I'm going to highlight it. So I highlight the 9 and the decimal because that's the 1 and the decimal column. Now I'm going to count how many places to the right the underlined falls. Okay, this is my ones column, 1, 2, 3, 4 digits to the right. So I'm going to do spaces 4 digits to the left of my ones column. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go back and label those whole number columns. So after the ones comes the tens, hundreds, thousands, put a TH to show that it's thousands, and the 10,000s, T for 10, TH for thousands. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So it's going to work the same way to the right. After the 1 came the tens or the tenths with the TH at the end. After the 100 came the hundredths with the TH at the end. After the 100 came the 1,000, so it would be the thousandths with the TH at the end. And after the thousands came the 10,000s. So this would be the T for 10, T for thousands with the TH at the end. So this digit 1 is in the 10,000ths place. Remember, the TH at the end reminds me that that is in the decimal side of the place value column, and it is actually worth less than 1 whole. So that's my final answer. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 3 right now. Okay, so for number 4, the directions say underline the digit in the thousandths place. Sometimes you'll see questions like this. And I'm given a number. I need to find the digit in the thousandths place. So it's kind of like the opposite of what I did for the other examples. Well, again, I will find the 1 and the decimal because there's only one 1 and there's only one decimal, and I will highlight them. Label that as the ones column, and what comes after the ones column. Same way as it works to the left. Ones, tens, or tenths, hundreds or hundredths, thousands or thousandths. And I now found the thousandths column, so I'll underline that 7 because that's the digit in the thousandths column. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 4 right now. Number 5 again says underline the digit in this time the tenths place. So, as always, I'm going to find my 1 and my decimal columns to highlight those. There's my 1 and there's my decimal. I'll label it the O for the ones column. I'm looking for the tenths column, so I'll keep going till I get there. Well, after the ones comes the tens or the tenths. And guess what? I just found the tenths column, so that's the digit I'll underline. The 0 is in the tenths column. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 5 right now. And number 6 says underline the digit in the hundredths place. Again, I noticed the THS at the end, so I know it has to be to the right of the ones column. Find my digit in the ones column and the decimal. There they are, I highlight them. Label it O for ones column. I'm going to need to work to the right, so after ones comes tens or tenths. After tenths comes, or tens comes hundreds or hundredths. And that's my digit in the hundredths column, so I underline the 4. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 6 right now. And sometimes you'll see questions like this question number 7. It says name the place value to which the number was rounded. And I have 0.7648, which was rounded to 0.765. This is the number it was rounded to, so I need to name the place to which it was rounded. That means when I find the number it was rounded to, my red arrow is pointing to it, I need to find the place value of the last digit in the number. So, how do I do that? As always, highlight the digit in the ones column and the decimal. Label it O for ones column. And now I'm going to label all of my columns all the way down to my last digit. So after ones comes tens or tenths, then hundredths or hundredths, and then thousands or thousandths. So this digit is in the thousandths column. Therefore, the number was rounded to the thousandths column because the last digit is in the thousandths column. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 7 right now. And number 8 says name the place value to which the number was rounded to. I started with 0.826 and then they rounded it to 0.8. So this is the number they rounded to. I need to know the place value of the last digit in that number. Once again, highlight the ones and the decimals, ones column and decimal column. Label O for ones. The place after ones instead of tens is tenths. And this is the last digit, so this number was rounded to the tenths column. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 8 right now. So to review, decimal numbers are numbers that are less than 1. Like in the center we have 1/10, on the right we have 1/100th. They're numbers that are less than 1 whole. If we remember back to chapter 1 and the days that we memorized the place value chart, this is our place value chart. There's only one 1 and there's only one decimal, so we always highlight the ones column and the decimals. And then the decimal place value columns work in the same order that the whole numbers do. So as we see here, there's a blue arrow in the tens, so a blue tenths. Then a green hundred, so a green hundredths. Then an orange thousand, so an orange thousandths. And then a purple 10,000, so a purple 10,000ths. It works in the same opposite backward order. When we have a question that asks what place value column the underlined digit is in, first we highlight the ones and the decimals since there's only one 1 and there's only one decimal, and then we work it out to figure out which column the underlined digit is in. Remember, it works the same to the left as it does to the right, so I use that strategy to solve this type of problem. If the question says the underlined digit, find the underlined digit that's in the whatever place, thousandths, tenths, hundredths, whatever it is. Again, I highlight the 1 in the decimal because there's only one 1, and I figure out which digit is in the column that I'm looking for. So I worked from 1 to tenths to hundredths to thousandths, went in order, and as soon as I hit that thousandths, I knew that was my digit. And finally, when told to name the place value to which a number was rounded, I find the rounded number, which will be the shorter number. I look at that number, I highlight my ones column and my decimal, and I count the names of the columns all the way to the very last digit. Whatever the column that the last digit is in will be the column that that number was rounded to. So hopefully you can now say with confidence, I can name the place value column a decimal digit is in, and I can find the correct digit when given the place value column. We will do more practice on this in class, and if you still have questions and can't confidently say either of those things, please make sure you see one of the teachers. Good luck with this lesson.